Hello everybody, it's Lazel here with another EDH deck tag. Today I'm featuring Rakdos, Lord of Riots. He's a 4 mana 6/6 legendary creature demon, which says you can't cast Rakdos, Lord of Riots unless an opponent lost life this turn. Flying Trample and creature spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. We are going to win the game by casting some very powerful but discounted Eldrazi spells. For example, Ulamog's Crusher 8 mana 8/8 with Annihilator 2 and Ulamog's Crusher attacks each combat if able. Artisan of Kozilek 9 mana 10/9. When you cast a spell, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield and has also Annihilator 2. Desolation Twin 10 mana 10/10. When you cast a spell, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Pathrazer of Ulamog 11 mana 9/9 with Annihilator 3 and Pathrazer of Ulamog can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. Conduit of Ruins 6 mana 5/5. When you cast Conduit of Ruins, you may search your library for a colorless creature card with converted mana cost 7 or greater. Reveal it, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. The first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. And Hand of Emrakul 9 mana 7/7. You may sacrifice 4 Eldrazi spawn rather than pay Hand of Emrakul's mana cost and Annihilator 1. The thing about this deck is that we need to make our opponents lose life, so we also play cards like Spear Spewer 1 mana 0/2 defender, but tap Spear Spewer deals 1 damage to each player. Spawn of Mayhem 4 mana 4/4 with Spectacle for 3 mana Flying Trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, Spawn of Mayhem deals 1 damage to each player. Then, if you have 10 or less life, put a 1/1 counter on Spawn of Mayhem. Thermal Alchemist 2 mana 0/3 defender. Tap. Thermal Alchemist deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, untap Thermal Alchemist. Creeping Bloodsucker is great because you also gain some life back. 2 mana 1/2. At the beginning of your upkeep, Creeping Bloodsucker deals 1 damage to each opponent. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. Stormfist Crusader 2 mana 2/2 Menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses 1 life. Nettle Drone is great in this deck. 3 mana 3/1 with Devoid and tap. Nettle Drone deals 1 damage to each opponent. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, untap Nettle Drone. In this deck you can get used to casting several Eldrazi spells in one turn, so you become threat number 1. The important thing is that you need to swing right away. Cards like Akroma's Memorial help with that. 7 mana legendary artifact. Creatures you control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste and protection from black and from red. Further, 3 mana enchantment. Creatures you control have haste. Urabrask the Hidden 5 mana legendary creature Phyrexian Praetor 4/4. Creatures you control have haste. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Anger in your graveyard is great. 4 mana 2/2 haste, and as long as Anger is in your graveyard and you control a mountain, creatures you control have haste. Rising of the Day 3 mana enchantment. Creatures you control have haste, and legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. Perforos Bronze Blooded 5 mana 7/6 legendary enchantment creature god. Indestructible. As long as your devotion to red is less than 5, Perforos isn't a creature. Other creatures you control have haste, and for 3 mana you may put a creature card or an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Here are some more honorable mentions because we don't only need to win with combat damage. Chandra's Ignition 5 mana sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. Essence Harvest 3 mana sorcery. Target player loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Kazul's Fury. The board is about to be wiped, just fling your biggest creature at your opponent. 3 mana instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature. Kazul's Fury deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target, just as Fling itself. 2 mana instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature. Fling deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target. Let's draw some more value from all of those creatures ETB. Warstorm Surge 6 mana enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. We are in red, so we definitely have to play Sunbird's Invocation in this deck. 6 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from among cards revealed this way without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You want to win more? You get it. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, 10 mana 10/10. When you cast Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, exile 2 target permanents. Indestructible, and whenever Ulamog attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of his or her library. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, 10 mana, 12/12. When you cast a spell, draw 4 cards. Annihilator 4. And when Kozilek, Butcher of Truth is put into a graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard into the library. Ulamog, the Infinite Gaia, 11 mana, 10/10. When you cast a spell, destroy target permanent. Indestructible and also Annihilator 4. When Ulamog, the Infinite Gaia is put into a graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard into the library. Void Winnower, a great stacks piece, 9 mana, 11/9. Your opponents can't cast spells with even converted mana cost. Your opponents can't block with creatures with even converted mana cost. It that betrays, 12 mana, 11/11, Annihilator 2. And whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent, put that card on the battlefield under your control. Cityscape Leveler, 8 mana, 8/8, Trample. When you cast a spell and whenever Cityscape Leveler attacks, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a tapped Power Stone token. And it also has Unearth 8. And another absolute banger in this deck is Zuludok, Void Gorger, 6 mana, 7/4. Colorless spells you cast from your hand with mana value 7 or greater have Cascade and Cascade. This is an absolute banger in this deck. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this short video about Rakdos, Lord of Riots. Let me know which cards you would add to the list, which legendary creature I shall feature next, and then I would say see you in the next video. Goodbye guys.